she could convince that this room was haunted and there were some spirits who were doing this kind of activities, this kind of things. And because of that stranger, only the spirits have entered in his room, in his inn. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She was mourning. She was feeling upset and sad. She was in grief that the chair which was thrown towards me, in that chair my mother used to sit, and how she can raise against me. So she can't do that. That chair was thrown to me by some spirit, because she was in grief because that chair, on that chair, her mother used to sit, and she was attached with that chair also because of her mother. But when that chair was thrown towards her, she was really panicked and she was very sad, upset with that, as she was confused and surprised at how this thing can be happened. And that chair in which her mother used to sit was now occupied by some spirits. That is why that chair was thrown towards her, because her mother can't do so. Now they started thinking that there were ghosts or spirit in that room, and the neighbors started thinking that it was all done by witchcraft, by black magic. But no one could understand that this was all done by Griffin, an invisible scientist. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected. When that burglary was done in that clergyman's house, everyone started suspecting on that scientist, because no one else was there in that inn. And the scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. He was involved in it. Everyone was suspecting that scientist, that he might be was involved in that act, in the robbery, and even as those spirit got into their house, he was also involved in that. Because of him, these all things happened. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash. Though he had admitted not long before that he had no money, the village constable was secretly sent for. So, after robbery, he got the cash, and he pretended that he had not done anything, and to stay in that lodge, he gave that money for rent of his lodge to the landowner. But that suspicion grew more strong, because not long before he said that he had no money, and suddenly he appeared with the money. So they were very surprised and shocked and suspicious on that scientist, and they thought that he might have stolen the money and now he has given that money to them. So the money paid by him for rent was the stolen money from their study room. And then they called the constable, the village constable, for investigating this whole incident. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist. So as she was very angry, disturbed by the act of this scientist, without waiting, she couldn't control her emotion, and she went straightly to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. Now that room was empty, it was locked, and somehow that scientist was in that room. She also couldn't understand, and she asked, you have been doing to my chair upstairs in her room? She then made, and I want to know how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. The study room and my room, both were empty. And this room also was empty and locked in. So what you were doing in my room and how you entered in this locked room? I want to know. The scientist was always quick-tempered. He was always furious one, and he used to get angry very quickly. Now he became furious, very much angry. So he was short-tempered, and as Mrs. Hall came to him and started questioning, so he got angry and he said, "You don't understand who or what I am," he shouted. "Very well, I'll show you." Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles and even nose, the artificial nose. It took him only a minute to do this. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at a headless man. So he was down in the bar, and when those people saw the man without head, they were horrified and they were staring at a headless man. Mr. Jafar, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. Horrified, that means filled with terror, extremely shocked. So when she couldn't control her emotion and she went to Griffin and she started questioning him. Then Griffin got furious and he said that now I will show you who I am. And he started throwing all the artificial things, the bandage, whisker, spectacle and even the artificial nose. So now his head and neck was invisible. And it took just a minute to him for throwing and getting out of these things. And the people in the bar were horrified, were in terror by this act, and they were looking at a man who had no head. By the time Mr. Jafar arrived there, and he was also surprised that he had to catch a man who had no head. So they all got shocked. But Jafar was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, that means he had to be arrested, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Prevented, that means to keep from happening, to stop from something to be happening. Magistrate, that means a civil officer who administers the law, especially one who conducts a court that deals with minor offence and holds preliminary hearing for more serious one. So he was a constable, and no one could prevent him, no one could stop him from doing his duty. He was very loyal to his duty, and he decided that as I have got the order from magistrate, I have to perform this and I have to catch this man, even with or without his head. So he started chasing him, but there followed a remarkable scene. One can never forget that scene. As the policeman tried to get hold, the policeman trying to catch the man who was becoming more and more invisible as he was throwing his clothes one after another, and without clothes he was not visible, and the policeman still was trying to catch that man. Finally, a shirt, a question of trust, the only reason to believe that there was a man. So that shirt also flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. He was trying to catch someone who was completely invisible. Some people tried to help him but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. They couldn't see anyone, but from nowhere, they couldn't understand from which side they are getting hits, they are getting the blows. They couldn't understand it, but they were being hit. And the constable was trying to catch a man who was now, after throwing the shirt, was completely invisible, and the people surrounding were being hit by someone, but they couldn't understand that who was hitting them because they couldn't see anyone. In the end, Jafar was knocked unconscious. He was banged down unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on to the unseen scientist. So that scientist hit him from behind as he couldn't see him, and he was knocked unconscious after the hit of that scientist. There were nervous, excited cries of "Hold him!" but this was easier said than done. No one could hold him. It was easy to say to hold him, but no one could do so because he was invisible. How will they put their hand on anyone who was invisible? Griffin had shaken himself free as he was invisible, so no one could see him and he was free from everyone's hold. And no one knew where to lay hands on him, how they can catch him. Knock, that means collide or collapsed with hitting, giving them a hard blow. Someone hit him hard and he fell down, unconscious. So in this way, everyone made effort to catch that scientist, but as he put his clothes out, so he was completely invisible and no one could catch him, and he flew away. So in this way, the story comes to an end, and Griffin, after troubling everyone, he could not stay in that lodge also, and because of his bad temper and his lawless activities, he got caught. Everyone got his personality, his individuality, and they got to know that this was the scientist who was invisible and he was doing all these lawless activities. Now finally, as he threw all his clothes, no one could catch him and he flew away. Everyone made efforts but they couldn't succeed. So in this way, even being a brilliant scientist, he could not save himself as he was a lawless person and a wrongdoer, and that for that he had to get the punishment, and he had to leave that place. Now he had no home, no clothes, and he had to survive himself in that cold, in that chilled winter. So if you are doing something wrong, that means you will have to pay for that. This was the message of this story. With this, we come to an end of this video. Now we will meet in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, be safe at home. Thanks for being with me. See you.